Okay. What's up, everybody? Good morning. Welcome to a Tuesday edition of Morning Scone, presented by Brock, the Baton Rouge Orthopedic Clinic. Hudco Roofing, hudcoroofing.com. Restored Motions, restoredmotions.com, and ProCharge EV, prochargeev.com. All right, everybody, hope your Tuesday's off to a wonderful start. In just a few minutes, LSU football will be back on the practice field. 7:55 a.m. is the media availability. Brian Kelly meets with reporters after practice today around 10 a.m. So we'll get, excuse me, we'll get some insights from Brian Kelly on how the 10 days or so off went for the Tigers, what they've been up to, and how practice goes today as they resume. So if you're curious, let's see, I'll tell you the schedule coming up here for LSU football. Okay, let's see. Here it is. All right, so LSU practiced Tuesday the 21st, Thursday the 23rd, Saturday the 25th, and there was no media availability on that Saturday. So, no, I'm sorry, my apologies. They practiced Thursday, today's Tuesday the 21st. They practiced Thursday, March 9th, and there was media availability. Friday, March 10th, no availability, and then took off for spring break the 13th through the 19th. So they're back now today. So they haven't practiced since 2 Fridays ago. Excuse me. So they took a big long break, and Brian Kelly kind of explained the reason they did that was to sort of elongate their time with the team. So you have a certain number of practices in a certain amount of days, so they were able to stretch out the length of time that they could do work with the players, be it film work, class work, walkthroughs, that sort of stuff, because they stretched out spring practice. So it was very intentional how Brian Kelly went about scheduling this. So they resumed practice today. So they have Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, and then they have a few days off until they practice again the following Thursday, the 30th. Then Saturday, the 1st, that is interesting. That'll be open after period 18. So we're going to get a good chunk of that practice on that Saturday. And we'll get to meet with Mike Denbrock. And then the next Tuesday, we meet with Matt House. And then the following, boy, they go a long time. They go all the way through April 22nd. Anyway, he has really stretched this out. Anyway, so they return to practice today. Again, some of the things that I was kind of looking for coming into spring. Quarterback, obviously how they divvy up the reps. I'm curious to see what running backs are out there today. Remember, 10 days ago at the start of practice, there was no Josh Williams, no Armani Goodwin, no John Emery, Noah Kane. All the veterans weren't out there. So we'll I'll be curious to see which running backs are back out there. And then cornerback, definitely interested to see how the cornerback rotation goes. Some of the conversations I had after those first couple of days of spring were that Zy Alexander, man, they like him a lot. That's the Southeastern transfer. He's a 2-time All-American, and really for him, it's just watching him go do it against SEC caliber wide receivers. But don't be surprised if Zy Alexander ends up making a big move during this spring. Really keep an eye on Marlon Martinez at center with Charles Turner out. How does he do? And then we know that defensive line, Mason Smith, Mekhi Wingo are going to be your starters. But Smith, no contact this spring. Mekhi Wingo out after having surgery, and so who are the guys that kind of start to rotate after that? Jordan Jefferson, the West Virginia transfer, he's out this spring. So you're down a few bodies. Let's see who does the most with their opportunities. So just some of the things to keep an eye on as they hit the practice field again today. So okay, let's say some good mornings. If you would, YouTube, please smash that like button. Subscribe to the channel. Facebook, please like the page, share the post. LSU baseball back on the field tonight, Central Arkansas. If you missed it, had Gavin Guidry in studio yesterday for AFR. Really good convo, man. He talked a lot about being recruited by Jay Johnson, playing for Jay Johnson. He talked about his draft process and the number he had that he would have signed for and why it was as big as it was. He told me on air and off air some amazing stuff about Paul Skeens and Dylan Cruz. The thing that stood out most to him talking about Skeens is there's just nobody that works harder at keeping his body healthy. And he gets his work in every single day. Like, even after he's there in the morning, and then even like after practice, he stays for hours, just if it's stretching and mobility and all the things to keep his body. So he's like, what was impressive, what he told me is, if you're thinking, oh, that the 100-mile-an-hour fastballs, like those are going to fade, like his velo will dip throughout the season. No, like he's keeping himself strong, and that's why he has the endurance and the stamina to keep, pumping that type of power. So really impressive, man. Good conversation. You missed it. It was on AFR yesterday in hour number 3. So if you go to the YouTube channel, the 104.5 ESPN YouTube channel, you could see it, or on demand. Just search After Further Review. Okay, say some good mornings here. Brian Penton, David Coslin, Dennis Payne, Bob Poole. Hey, Kelly Klein, Peter, good morning. Good morning. I love it. Brett McMasters, good morning. USA and Japan. Yeah, World Baseball Classic Championship or final tonight. Boy, a lot of people upset the other day, Brett, whenever Terrio and I were talking about World Baseball Classic, and he was really, really imploring me to watch it. I said, yeah, I'll watch it. I don't know, maybe I'll tune into it. Now, you know what I'm not going to be watching tonight? I'll be watching LSU. Maybe I'll flip back and forth. Scott Barnes, good morning. Bubba Tatum, Stephen Ruckman, Jason Horn, good morning. How's Drew doing? He's okay, Jason. Thank you for asking, man. We're actually going back to the neurologist again this morning. So been a sort of uneven couple of weeks, but we're, I would say status quo in our world is a good thing, just when nothing changes. But we've had a few changes the past couple of weeks, but he'll be fine. The good thing is, what we're dealing with, it hasn't changed Drew's personality at all. He's still happy and his normal self, which is great. Scott Borg, morning, y'all. When can we get a signal in Covington? Can a brother get a signal? So Scott, I'll tell you this. We are always looking for opportunities to expand. Always. And I can't tell you that there's anything imminent, but there's always conversations, and our executive team is well aware of the desire and the need to grow and expand. And the North Shore is definitely an area we've targeted. So I'm trying to be very vague, but just understanding that, like, we're not naive to that need. We're aware of it and actively exploring options. Not just North Shore, but a lot of places. Craig Straub, good morning. Jump over here to YouTube, say what's up. Let's see. Tribute Carter, what's going on? Good morning. Matt Plavidal, good morning. Have to go, my day off at the post office. Hoping to be off tomorrow. Okay, man. Well, dude, work hard, get that money, dog. Stephen Miller, good morning. Cajun Country, good morning. Cliff Nelson, what up? Larry Garner, Reed Rule, morning, Scone. Any early enrollees that are catching people's eyes? So in fairness, Reed, we had access to one practice so far, and it was a walkthrough with no pads. So I can't tell you firsthand that from what I've seen, right? Um, and I think some of the guys that are going to be the freshmen we're most excited to see um, aren't necessarily participating. For example, Deshaun Womack not going through spring. Zalance Hurd not going through spring. I guess it's always interesting to see quarterbacks. So let's see how Ricky Collins looks this spring. Um, so let's wait. Let's wait a few more practices out there to see if anybody flashes. But um, the ones I think most people would be excited to see, uh, Shelton Sampson. You know, Catholic doesn't allow um, its students to graduate early, so he won't be here until the summer. Um, so anyway, a short way of saying it is not yet, and it'd probably be hard to do that right now. Stephen Miller, Saturday, April 1st is game 3 of the LSU Tennessee series. Oh, that's next Saturday, yes. Not this coming Saturday, but the following. That is game 3. Dude, I'm really looking forward to that Friday night game. Skeens Dolander is going to be a lot of fun. I mean, I don't know. That might be the most anticipated pitching matchup since Nola and Jonathan Gray. Tell me if I'm missing one, but the 2013 LSU Oklahoma Super Regional that had Nola and Jonathan Gray, a couple of guys that everybody knew were going to be top 10 picks, and it delivered. I mean, tell me if I'm missing one, but I think that and you know what else too, Stephen? Let me check the time on that. Hang on. Let's see, the football practice on the 1st. Well, it's in the morning, so they're giving us Mike Denbrock at approximately 12:05. So practice would be before that. So we get practice availability early. So time and location TBD. So it might be in Tiger Stadium. Um, and then let's see the LSU game 3 against Tennessee. I'm doing this on the fly. My apologies, y'all. But that is interesting. That'd be an interesting morning. So let's see. So April 1st, we'll have LSU football practice and then game. Oh, it's a night game, Stephen. No, sorry. Friday's night game. Oh, God. Saturday's at 1 o'clock. Well, we should be done. But we should be done anyway. So if they're giving us Denbrock at noon, we'll be done by 1 when the game starts. Tim Gotro, Chewalt 1, good morning, Cajun Country. Do Crane and Company have some love for Louisiana? You and Tim Brando are always on the show. Am I reading too much into the Emory situation? Glad he's focusing on school, but seems off. So I don't know about a love for Louisiana. David Cohn is from Georgia, who went to the University of Michigan, was a quarterback at Michigan, and then Jake and Blaine, their dad played at Auburn, and they're Auburn fan. I mean, look, everyone cheers for someone. It doesn't mean you're incapable of being impartial, right? But so I don't know if there's like that deep love. I get along great with the guys. I mean, we met at Media Days 2 years ago and really hit it off, and I've been really happy for their success. So they just invite me on. I know Tim was on a bunch. Because of the Dale Brown court situation. But no, I don't know anything deeper than that. But I love those guys; they're great. And are you reading too much into the Emory situation? I don't. What are you reading into the Emory situation? My contention is John Emory does not need spring football. If you're LSU, you know what John Emory is physically. You just need John Emory to be healthy and eligible in the fall. So. You know what I mean? Like, ideally, you know what I would love to see? Burrow's last semester at LSU was a lot like Mettenberger's. Burrow was a grad student and he had a couple of online courses. Mettenberger had one online course his last semester at LSU, and so if you're not familiar, um, if you're a full-time student, you have to have a full slate, which I believe is at least 12 hours of classes to be full-time. Unless if you are going to graduate, then all you need is the course load needed to graduate that semester to be eligible. So Mettenberger in 13, if I remember, it's been 10 years, but if I remember correctly, Mettenberger was 3 hours short of graduation. So he had one 3 hour online course that fall of 2013. So like Zach Mettenberger was a full-time football player. He'd show up at football ops every morning in his flip-flops with his Starbucks and just go watch film with Cam Cameron and get ready for the season. Um, so that may be what they're aiming for here with Emory, is get him to graduation or get him close enough to where his workload in the fall would be less, so he could focus more on making sure he's eligible and playing football and stuff. Weston Weaver, good morning. When is LSU's pro day? How do you feel about these former pro players working out for their college pro days? I have no problem with former players working out at pro days. That is a practice that's gone on for a long time, and I have no problem with it whatsoever at all. It's an opportunity for LSU guys have done that for a long time. It's an opportunity for guys to excuse me, to be in a place where all NFL scouts are in one day to maybe get seen by somebody. So I have no problem with it whatsoever at all. Let's see. They sent us a credential request for LSU Pro Day not long ago. Here it is. LSU Pro Day is Wednesday, March 29th. So next Wednesday is Pro Day. A week from tomorrow. Let's see. John Wagner. Matt, how come there are two stations in Baton Rouge? I can never remember to swap from 104.5 to 104.9. So the 104.5s are Class C stations, meaning they're 5,000 watt FMs. They're low power FMs. And that's all regulated by the FCC, so the Federal Communications Commission. They determine how strong a signal can be because they don't overlap, right? So like we're 104.5 FM. Well, there's also a 104.5 FM like in Beaumont or something like that. So if we were cranked way up, our signals would just bleed over each other. So now that happens on the outer bands of the signal. But anyway, so that's all regulated by the FCC. But the 104.5 and 104.9 in tandem form a complete signal. So FM signals are circular. So if you think it's like 104.5 and 104.9, they do like this. So this whole area is covered. It's just when you swap from point to point, you might need to switch signal to get one better. But I'll tell you, that's also in part why we're always looking for opportunities. Bubba Smith, Scott Fork, Deborah Coward, good morning. Jerry DeLucky, good morning. Great interview with Gavin yesterday. I mean, he was fantastic. Thanks so much for listening, man. He was really good. We'd love to have him back. YouTube, please smash that like button if you would. Facebook, please like the page, share the post. Dane Bergeron, Jason H, fingers crossed, going for the SB4s this morning. Okay, good luck, dude. Tim Gotro, Austin is Muso's Graceland. Visiting Cooperstown in 2000 was mine. What's your Graceland? Good question, Tim. I would look at it like if there's one place in the world I would love to visit. You could say, okay, you could visit one place in the world today, and that's the last place you ever get to visit. I'd want to go see Italy, and I know Rome is super touristy, but there's so much history there that I would love to see. I would love to go to the Colosseum and the Vatican and do all the touristy stuff. Now, I would love to spend a month and just go tour all of Italy one day or 1 month. But, that would probably have to happen when Drew's older, but that would be my dream vacation. Let's see. Taylor Castanier, morning, Matt. Have you heard of anyone who stood out so far this spring? So keep in mind, Taylor, they've only had 2 practices. They had a walkthrough, on Thursday, 2 Thursdays ago, and then they practiced again Friday, and there was no media availability, and then they were off for spring break. So no, but now they really crank up for in earnest today. So we should start to get some of that stuff. And Brian Kelly will meet with the media this morning at 10 a.m. as well. So we'll get to hear some of what he has to say. Brad David, when Johnny Jones was fired, did LSU consider hiring Eric Musselman since he was on the LSU staff? Yes. And I am trying to remember what happened with Musselman. I want to say they interviewed him. Gosh, that's been so long now. I think Eric Musselman was interviewed for the job. Had he already? Was he at Nevada at the time? I don't. Oh, I need. You know what? I need to go back and jog my memory on this. He was at Nevada because he went straight from LSU in 15 to Nevada. He was there for 4 years, and Arkansas hired him in 19, and Wade was hired in 17. I'm almost positive that Musselman interviewed for the job when Wade got it. I need to go back and check. My memory's just a little froggy right now. Wendell Norman, Eric Wilderwater, obviously you can keep your red shirt if you play 4 football games or less. Is there an equivalent rule for college baseball? Good question. Not that I'm aware of, Eric, but honestly, there aren't that many fifth-year baseball players. Right? I mean, most guys don't stay 5 years, especially at a place like LSU. So I don't know. I don't know the answer to that. Stephen Miller, who's Jay starting tonight? Griffin? Let me find out. Text me. I'll find out as soon as we finish Morning Scone. And Jay doesn't usually like for that to leak, which I respect totally. But shoot me a message. I'll let you know. I really don't. I would tell you I really don't know. But I'll usually find out. I don't want to tell you how to find out, but I'll find out. Matthew Denicola, who do you think is starting? Who do you think starting? The one thing Jay did say yesterday is a couple of the guys who pitched over the weekend are not available. So like Chase Shores is not going to pitch tonight, which is good. I mean, if I can get innings out of Chase Shores on the weekend, I'd prefer that. If I can get 35 pitches on a Sunday or whatever it may be to bridge a few innings, I'd certainly prefer that to a midweek start. Hunter Broadhead, good morning. Austin Kidder, good morning from Vegas, from the Vegas home gym. Okay. Have Louisiana rainy weather here. That's wild. Raining in the desert, huh? Cliff, what was really impressive to me about the Guidry interview when he said he felt Coach Johnson makes decisions thought were best for him, the individual, not for LSU. Yeah. He was talking about how they, and he's kept his word. What Gavin said was that when he showed up in the fall, he said, look, we'll try at second, at short, at third. We'll see how it goes. And if you don't win one of those jobs, we'll try to get you on the mound this season. And that's exactly what's happened so far. Let's see. Shelby, why has Zeb Riddell not gotten a look? Where are you going to put him, man? I mean, I'm with you, Shelby, but that's the problem that a lot of guys are having on this team. I mean, we're just talking about Gavin Guidry. I mean, that guy was Gatorade Player of the Year in Louisiana. I mean, he'll be a draft eligible sophomore next year, and a lot of I think Baseball America top prospect list has Gavin Guidry as top 30 prospect or something like that for next year. You know what I mean? Like, you got good players that just aren't going to see time this year. Jason H, what kicks are we going with today? I don't know yet, Jason. I don't plan it out. I wore my Panda Dunks yesterday. I got a lot of compliments on them. I liked them. Spurge, what's going on? Stephen Miller, insulin with Enola Gray too. Yeah, man, that's you know what? I feel like if there was another one, and for those just joining, we're talking about for that the Skeens Dolander LSU Tennessee game. We're trying to think of starting pitching matchups that have been equally as anticipated as that. And Nola against Jonathan Gray in that 2013 Super Regional, I think, is the one that most people probably come to mind. I feel like there are probably other. I'll give you one other one that this one didn't live up to it, but in 2010, let me make sure I have this right. Hang on. Give me 1 second, y'all. I want to make sure I have this right. In 2010, LSU played Ole Miss in Ole Miss. I'm just making sure I have this. I want to make sure I have this right. There we go. I think it was this one. It was Renato against Pomeranz. It was Anthony Renato against Drew Pomeranz. And I think there was like a rainout. And so they ended up having to play a doubleheader on Saturday. And neither guy made it like out of the third inning. I can't find the box score. The box score isn't loading on LSUsports.net. But it was Renato Pomeranz was huge. That's probably lost on a lot of people now because it's been such a long time. But that's one that was really highly anticipated because LSU had won the Natty in 2009, and Renato came back and was, the horse at the front of the rotation. And Pomeranz was a first-round projection as well. And anyway. Let's see. Cole Henry, Jaden Hill against Rocker and Leiter was hyped. Yes, we were robbed of that one. That's a good one, Shelby. I mean, that COVID robbed us of that, but yes. Donovan Peterson Skeens pitching Thursday against Tennessee. He should. I mean, I can't imagine why you wouldn't see that. I mean, in theory, you could say keep him on Friday, they keep him on regular rest, but typically a day isn't going to matter. In the bigs, you're going to pitch every fifth day. I mean, this is 6 days rest. You're pitching every seventh day. So in this instance, you get 5 days rest. You'll be pitching on the sixth day. So we see that all the time. You'll see aces go on Thursday. Let's see. Shelby Skeen said he had one in-person class last semester. Everything online this semester. It's the way of the superstar. It's got to be. Ryan DeLon, Skeens throws Thursday against Tennessee. Correct. The Thursday doesn't start. Change the rotation. It shouldn't. I mean, there are rare instances where we've seen, and you know what will kind of happen? Golly, was it Florida? Man, some of the years run together now, but sometimes what you see is teams will kind of pitch backwards. They'll a couple of teams did that against Aaron Nola. Like they would almost concede game one to keep their ace for game two to give themselves a better chance of winning instead of burning their ace against Nola knowing they weren't going to win that game. But I don't think Tennessee's going to do that. All right, smash that like button if you would on YouTube, Facebook. Please like the page, share the post. All right, I got to get rolling. Let's see. Gonna have to get Drew up, and we're getting to the doctor today. Let's see. Matthew Denicola, who do you think pitched? Sorry, did that one. Bubba Tatum, oh man, sorry. If you can't get the actual FM signal, you can use the ESPN app. Yeah, you can always go to 1045ESPN.com. You can use the 1045 ESPN app. You can stream at 1045 ESPN YouTube. So there's a lot of ways that you can get us, even if you can't get us on terrestrial radio. Let's see. Mark, what's up? That's hilarious. Kelly Kleinpeter just told Austin Kidder, what's up? It's Kelly from the Callaway's days. Austin, did you work out? Kelly, what's so weird is that, so I saw Austin in Vegas a few weeks ago, and we talked about how I used to see his brother Kevin at Callaway's all the time. Sorry, y'all. I know y'all are all watching, and this is like now we've made this like a one-on-one conversation. But yeah, that was a wild blast from the past, talking about the Callaway's days and all that stuff. So Callaway's is like a gym in Baton Rouge, and Kelly worked there. And that was college. I had to be in college. I had to be at LSU at the time. Wow. Let's see. Jeff McKithen, what's going on? A couple more. Dalton Barnett, Antron Hemingway, good morning. How's Drew this morning? Drew's still sleeping. We're going to get him up, take him he's going to the neurologist this morning. So there's actually 3 straight weeks we've had to go to the neurologist. Just, working through some stuff right now, but we'll be good. Thank you for asking. Stephen Miller rocking the Hudco hat. Oh, the Snow White Hudco hat. That's right, dude. You did get a white Hudco hat. Those are like unicorns, man. That might be like a one of, I don't know if it's a one of one, but it's like a one of 2 or one of 3. Yeah, man. Let's see. Jason was still 100.3 signal was stronger on the North Shore. Again, always exploring options. Let's see. Musselman probably took his shirt off during the LSU interview. Like I am not the fuddy-duddy guy. I'm not the fun police. Like, celebrate, have your fun, all that stuff. But bro, keep your shirt on, dog. Like, you're 50-something years old. I mean, keep your shirt on. Let's see. Reed Rule, didn't Lang and Singer pitch against each other? We didn't get to see Lang in the championship series. I forgot what the matchups were in the regular season. So, Austin Kidder was at Callaway's every day from 99 to 02. That would have been about the time, yeah. Let's see. Steven, speaking of coaching carousel, I wondered if Big Blue Nation is turning up the heat on Calipari's chair. Do you think Patino gets another crack at a Power 5 program? You know what's interesting about Patino, Steven, is so he just took the St. John's job. Patino's 70, and he signed a 6-year deal. So, I mean, let's say hypothetically in 3 seasons, he's got St. John's rolling again. So he's 73. If you're a Power 5 program, do you go get Patino at 73 years old to knowing there's such a short leash? You know what I mean? I think it would have to be like it would just really have to be the right circumstance. But man, that's hard to imagine, like, what circumstance that would be that you'd hire a guy in his 70s to try to jumpstart your program. If you're St. John's and you feel like Patino can give you 3 to 5 years, cool. But when that run is done, then where does he go? Feels like this will be his last stop. Oh, and as far as Calipari, yeah, absolutely. They ain't happy in Kentucky. I mean, they've made us Sweet 16 since 2019. Is that right? They had COVID in there, but anyway. Let's see, Dalton. Do you have to be credentialed to go into Brian Kelly's press conferences? Yes, you do. I've always wanted to watch one live. Maybe sling a question or two. Yeah, there's no. Yeah, you have to be credentialed, yes. Um, Cajun Country can't sleep on Central Arkansas. They screwed up a parlay I tried. FYI, do not bet on college baseball. Baseball's hard to bet, bro. All right, let's see. Oh, God, I'm late. Leon, making my first trip to the box. Any suggestions where to sit? Taking my 8-year-old to his first college baseball game. Well, like Leon, I don't. If you don't have tickets yet, I mean, it's reserved seating, so you'll have to get seats. I mean, I would always suggest sitting under the grandstand. I mean, it's not to say there aren't good seats, but elsewhere, but you get a chair back, you get covered in case there's weather, better sight lines. Yes, see, Shelby, we didn't see Lang Singer in the CWS. Lang didn't pitch in the championship series. Remember, like they were holding him for game 3, and they never got to game 3. Matt Moscona throwing out the first pitch was way more anticipated than Nola Gray. Let's see. Lang against Faedo, I think, was the 1-0 game in Gainesville. Hang on. Now y'all are making me go dig up all these whole baseball box scores. But again, the fact that we're having to look it up shows. I mean, look, there's always a lot of anticipated games, obviously, right? But let's see. I think this was the 1-0 game here, the Lang Faedo game. Yep. Lang 8 innings pitched, 1 run on 6 hits, struck out 7, walked 1, and lost. Faedo went 7 innings, no runs, 7 hits, 7 strikeouts, no walks. Salty day. Yeah, Faedo Singer co-art was crazy. Let's see, Steven, anticipated as in first round top 10 picks in the MLB draft like Skeens, Dolander will be hard to top that. That's true. I think that's why the Nola Gray thing is what always pops up. Gray went to the A's, didn't he? He was drafted by the A's. Well, let me see. He went. He went third to the Rockies. So he went third to the Rockies, and Nola was 5th, wasn't he? Nola was 5th to the Phillies. So you had so you had the third and the 7th. Sorry. So Nola was 7th. So you had the 3rd and the 7th picks of that draft, both in the top 10. All right, I really have to go now. I'm way late. Gregory Gordy, Cody Mayu, Shelby Kelly. Okay, all right, we're done. I got to go. Y'all, Michael Cook, thanks for watching. As always, shout out to Brock, the Baton Rouge Orthopedic Clinic, Hudco Roofing. You need an orthopedist, go to Brock. Need a roof, call Hudco. Restored Motions and ProCharge EV. If you've got pain, book a session with Crystal Poche at Restored Motions. Trust me, just book a session. She will take you out of that pain. And ProCharge EV, check it out, prochargeev.com. Okay, have an awesome day. LSU Daily is already live. And AFR3. Peace.